Yeah, I was gonna do a video on the Seth Jones trade here again, because that was absolutely mind-bogglingly bad for the Chicago Blackhawks. But then I realized, the Blue Jackets are playing at like 2 p.m. PDT, so do I really want to go out there and make a video 2 hours before that game starts? And then I realized even further that yesterday we kind of violated my own rule because we made a Red Wings video an hour before the Red Wings game. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with the video scheduling and uploading and all that, but now it's time to actually take a step back and understand, okay, when can we make videos? You know when we can make a Red Wings video? When the Red Wings don't have a game, or at the very least, not an hour before the Red Wings game actually starts. We don't have ourselves any Red Wings action tonight, but what we do have is a video here that I want to make talking about Moritz Seider. Yeah, great segue, isn't it? So, we all know just how good Lucas Raymond has been for the Red Wings. He's been the rookie sensation, scoring points, scoring goals, scoring hat tricks, and being the first Red Wings teenager to score 4 points in a game since Yzerman and since Gordie Howe. So, definitely some very good company over here for Lucas Raymond, and the stats reflect that so. However, he isn't the only rookie on the Detroit Red Wings that is actually having a significant impact on this club. If we go over to the rookie points race, we can see that number one is indeed that Lucas Raymond with 9 points so far in the sample size he has played, but second in rookie total scoring is none other than Moritz Seider, who was taken 6th overall at the 2019 NHL Entry Draft. Now, for Seider, it's a lot more difficult to process and understand just how good he has been if you don't watch the games. When you look at the rookies and the Calder and all that, it's easy to just say, okay, give it to the guy with the most points. And for the most part, that's pretty much what the Calder has been the past few years. We say this all the time, but last year Kaprizov, 2 years ago, who the heck was it 2 years ago? Makar, that's who it was. And then Pettersson, 3 years ago. And then Barzal, a few years ago before that. It's pretty much just the guy who gets the most points that ends up winning the Calder. And the fact is, the Red Wings legitimately have two players at the top of the lineup right here in first place Lucas Raymond and second place Moritz Seider, who have been great. However, that's not it. That's not all I wanted to talk about here today, because yes, even though Moritz Seider has 8 assists for 8 total points in 9 games played with the Red Wings, even though he is looking very dynamic and offensively capable, he's playing on the special teams and he's doing his thing as the top of the umbrella player, we still have ourselves a lot more to discuss when going over just the overall impact that Seider has had with the Wings so far. Before we get into any of that though, I want you to keep in mind, this guy's only 20 years old. He's turning 21 in April, so yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. Going over to the rest of the defensemen in the NHL in terms of points. Right now, Moritz Seider has the same amount of production as some of the following over here. Tony DeAngelo, Victor Hedman, Adam Fox, Neil Pionk, and Kevin Shattenkirk. My goodness, that one caught me off guard. I didn't realize that Kevin Shattenkirk had 8 points in 9 games played. But Moritz Seider is currently in a very big, 6-7 way tie for third place in NHL defenseman scoring, as Roman Josi and Aaron Ekblad both have 9 points on the season. Seider actually is one of the top guys in the league for defensemen in assists, because he is tied with Pionk and Victor Hedman with 8 assists on the year. All 3 of these guys each have 0 goals. So yeah, it's not the best right now for the goal-scoring side of things, but you love to see the production either way, and Seider being at just under a point per game for all NHL defensemen as one of the top guys certainly is great to hear when you remember he is just a rookie. And now, here's the actual kicker. Because sure, Seider is getting these points, sure he's one of the top most productive rookies in the NHL, one of the top most productive defensemen in the NHL, period, but how good is he defensively? Well, MoneyPuck.com published themselves the list of the best defensive pairings so far this season. And what this graph does is it takes a look at all of the NHL pairings we have seen out of all the 32 teams so far, and it ranks these pairings based on expected goals against per 60 minutes. Now, what does that mean? Expected goals against is a metric that measures just how many goals should have gone in against this pairing. What's that measured by? Okay, it's measured by the quality of shot chances against, it's measured by the velocity of the shots against, it's measured by who's shooting on the other side. So if Seider and Leddy are going out there and you're facing Alexander Ovechkin's unit, and Ovi gets like 3 one-timers right there in the slot, but Nedeljkovic makes the save on all of them. On that shift, you would have probably had 3 expected goals against, because you wouldn't really expect Ovechkin to miss 3 point-blank one-timers on the side of the goal with the net wide open. Those would be expected goals against. What this expected goals against per 60 minutes metric does is it takes a look at these pairings in the NHL and it says, okay, for all the pairings and seeing how many expected goals against they have, how many do they let in per 60 minutes? And the minutes category is also highlighted here. You can see that Nick Leddy and Moritz Seider is the 5th best pairing in the NHL when it comes to expected goals against per 60 minutes. So for every 60 minutes that Leddy Seider is out there on the ice, you can expect 1.45 goals to be scored against the Red Wings, which is a better pairing than some of these following pairings over here. Anderson and Doughty, Goligoski and Spurgeon, Keandre Miller, Jacob Trouba, Bowen Byram, Cale Makar, Oliver Shillington and Chris Tanev, Sandin and Dermott, Gostisbehere and Soderstrom. Okay, it's actually kind of mind-blowing to me how Gostisbehere, Soderstrom, and Sandin Dermott are some of the top defensive pairings as well in terms of expected goals against per 60 minutes. But the point remains that Leddy and Seider is still one of these two. They're top 5 in the league in expected goals against per 60, which indicates just how defensively sound they have been. In fact, if you want to take a look at just these pairings over here and discuss what exactly the opposite is. Okay, opposite of goals against, it's goals for. Leddy and Seider are on the ice for an expected 2.74 goals for per 60 minutes, which is one of the best ones here. There are others, of course, on this list that have higher goals for per 60-minute metrics, like Darnell Nurse, Evan Bouchard. Any surprises there? Playing with McDavid? Absolutely not. Sandin Dermott, same kind of thing with the Maple Leafs. You also have yourselves Gretzlick and McAvoy. Obviously, Boston, you know, they've got their thing going on over there. But the Seider and Leddy pairing also has a higher goals for per 60-minute metric than Jonas Brodin and Matt Dumba. These guys have been pretty good. Same pairing down there, Anderson and Doughty. You also have Goligoski, Spurgeon, Miller, Trouba. It's all the same pairings over here that Leddy and Seider is beating out. And if you wanted to take a look at the ratio of goals against per 60 and goals for per 60, because you want less goals against and you want more goals for, Leddy and Seider is legitimately one of the best defensive pairings on this list when you're sorting it just by the best pairings for goals against. And that indicates to me that even though this Red Wings team is not really supposed to be all too good, this team is not really supposed to win any games, they're not really supposed to make the playoffs, you know, we're still rebuilding, quote-unquote, right? With Moritz Seider and Nick Leddy as a pairing, which admittedly did get broken up, I think, the other day, this pairing is legitimately one of the best. And sure, Nick Leddy is a vet. He was with the Islanders and one of their better players, so it's good to see him continuing that success with the Wings, but it takes 2 to tango, especially for a defensive pairing. And for Moritz Seider, we already talked about the swagger he carries down there on the ice. We talked about how he's able to use his teammates on the breakout. We talked about how he mans the top of the power play at the top of the umbrella. We've spoken about how he's so good at defending rushes in transition. And all the numbers back it up. Not only points, because he is one of the top defensemen in scoring and one of the top rookies in scoring, but the defensive metrics as well. So talk to me in the comments, what do you think about just how good Seider has been? I've been seeing all the comments on the recent Red Wings video saying, yeah, I didn't really expect Raymond to be this good. And it's all Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond, and don't worry, I love Raymond too. But let's give our fair share of the spotlight to the other Red Wings rookie, who has been absolutely outstanding so far as well, statistically. Eye test. It's all there for Moritz Seider. Also, let me know in the comments what do you think should happen with his pairings and everything going forward. We don't want to see Seider with Danny DeKeyser, right? Like, if there's anything that you want to go out there and prevent, it's DeKeyser Seider. Even though it sounds cool, they kind of rhyme, they're similar names in the way they end. Let's just stick with Leddy Seider. Come on, man. Look, if you really want to boost Nick Leddy's trade value as well, you're going to get the most value out of Leddy watching this guy play with Seider. So there are a whole bunch of benefits in terms of team results, in terms of player performance and whatnot that really indicate that you should leave Leddy Seider together. But either way, talk to me in the comments. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this. And Bye.